Welcome to Buzz on Veterans. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and I'm lucky to be joined in the studio here with John Thibault from Freelance Financial LLC. John, welcome.
Thank you.
Good
Chris.
to see you, yeah.
Good seeing you too.
So let's talk about you. So where are you from, what you do in the military, and let's talk about your journey into the financial industry.
Sure. I'm a kid growing up in Florida, just like every other kid that graduated high school in the 90s, joined the Army, did it for college money.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sounds familiar.
I did field artillery, fire directions specialist
awesome.
for
Where's
the
your
multiple
hearing
launch
aids?
rocket system.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? No, I was fire directions. I was in the rear with the gear.
Yeah, FDC.
That's right.
Yeah.
Spent 3 years active, went to college, active in the National Guard, so I did my 8-year obligation and transitioned into accounting.
Yeah.
Worked as an auditor right out of college and made my way through the organizations, a lot of manufacturing.
Like what kind of manufacturing? What companies?
So I worked for General Electric.
Oh yeah, small company. I've heard of them
just
once or twice.
Just a little guy, right? Was here, started in their services organization here in Jacksonville, and then they transferred me to the plant in Erie, Pennsylvania. I got quite an upgrade. I went from managing 5 domestic maintenance facilities here in Jacksonville to, from a financial perspective, taking care of 5 international businesses. So it was a pretty
the magnitude was pretty large in a small time frame too.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine you learned a lot.
We did.
Yeah,
I did. Absolutely.
What was that kind of that mental, I guess, growth that you had? You know, going from military, field artillery, down to financial industry. How did you, you're successful. So how did you kind of navigate that road?
So, I've always been well organized, right? You learn that in the military. You got a lot of work ethic, right? And I've always taken it as whatever task you're given at that moment, you fulfill. You do it the best of your ability, and you go until completion. Yeah. And in accounting and finance, that is it's encouraged. I mean, encouraged, but it's appreciated, if you will, because some people working and they don't have that work ethic, and it kind of.
It's funny. I make fun of it, though. I've lived it for 36 years. Every 2 weeks you're gonna get paid, regardless of how many butt chewings you get per day.
That's right.
But as I found my time in General Electric. Monthly we're doing our balance sheet review. Your hero or zero. In the DoD, we spend money. In business, you got to be making money, and you know that from the financial side. So, as you made that journey through GE, and then eventually, you create your own LLC. What was the inspiration to do that?
I saw that a lot of small businesses needed help to grow. I saw that there was a lot of need for temporary controllership. So as my career progressed into that controllership, running departments and stuff, I saw the need and helped companies grow. I helped a company go from 2 million to 10 million in just 2 years. Expanded their production line. And then right now, in my consulting business, over the last 8 years, I've done 5. I've worked at 5 companies that needed emergency controllership. So someone left, somebody got terminated. One thing or another, they needed emergency controllership. So I would step in, take the department, run the department, pick up their ERP quickly, learn their business, and just drive forward, keep the ship afloat. Yeah. Right.
I like what you said, because your kind of your market segment is that small business, right? And I had a conversation with another small business owner that I know in my neighborhood. I asked, we're talking about marketing. For him to hire 4 people to do marketing, we'll just say $50,000 per people, per person. So $200,000 a year to have a marketing department. Vice going to a company that actually does marketing at a $50,000 price point per year. Right. And by the way, they have the reach back and the ability to kind of go well beyond those 4 folks. I always found that in the area of consulting, there is a huge opportunity to help those at that kind of at that small business, maybe small, medium size, or schmedium, if you will.
Schmedium, I like that.
We talked off camera, because a lot of our veterans I've seen are, they know what a W-2 employee is, but this term 1099, is for some folks is pretty new, and you can Google it, obviously, W-2 versus 1099. But what are some of the benefits of having a 1099 versus a W-2, and vice versa?
From the company standpoint?
From the company standpoint, or from you as an LLC and yourself,
So a 1099 employee, from the company standpoint, is beneficial because you don't have to pay a portion of that FICA, right?
Yeah.
So your FICA is 6.2% plus 1.45% of your federal unemployment,
Yeah.
the retirement funds, right?
Right,
FICA.
yeah.
And so the 1099 employee pays all of it,
Yeah.
right? So
It's not on the business.
Right. So when you have a W-2,
Yeah.
the company pays a portion and the employee pays a portion, and
Yeah.
it's an even split. From also on top of that, the 1099 employee usually doesn't get all the benefits of the company. So
Right.
you don't have to pay their health insurance. You don't have to offer them the 401k match.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
It can get pretty
Pension.
expensive, right?
Absolutely can. It's we're talking about 30% additional cost on top of the salary.
Wow. And then the other thing, I guess, from a business point of view, if you have short-term project work, I'll say short-term, less than a year, then better to not necessarily bring on people on payroll to kind of work that when you can, oh, by the way, probably get somebody that's a subject matter expert in that career field.
Sure.
And they can lean on their network to kind of provide those services.
And that's a good point because you
Yeah.
bring somebody on as a W-2 and the project's only 3 months. What happens at the end of the 3 months? You let
Yeah.
them go. There might be a severance thing.
Yeah,
A severance issue going on there. Right?
That's huge. No.
Yeah.
Well, hey, John, thanks for your service. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate the
Yes,
Army. It's
sir.
always good to meet another
Thank you.
Army guy,
Thank
and appreciate what you're doing out there to help those small businesses. And for our audience out there across the nation, how would they find your company? They just Google you or find you on LinkedIn or
On LinkedIn is probably the best.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so John Thibault, not to be mistaken for the other Thibault that resides here in Northeast Florida. So, hey, thanks again for being on Buzz on Veterans. Hey, for the group out there, today's segment is sponsored by Operation Barnabas, a great nonprofit up here in Northeast Florida, helping veterans in need get back on their feet. So, follow us on LinkedIn if you like what we're talking about, and we look forward to seeing you in the next segment.
Operation Barnabas is a veterans ministry, started in 2017 with the purpose of helping our veterans that kind of got left behind, and they've struggled with addictions, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, those kind of things, helping them get whole again through one-to-one mentorship.
Being able to communicate with them and help them can drastically change their life, can drastically change a family's life. The little that we can do is put our hand out and say, hey, do you want a hand up?